Good morning, everybody. Buenos dias. Happy day 148 of the year. How are you feeling this morning? How did you wake up? Hopefully you are well rested after a lovely night of sleep and you are ready to start the cycle of a new day. Hopefully you have some yin time this morning, some slow, quiet time to yourself, and you found a nice, quiet and comfy place that you can carve out this 15 minutes, this 1% of your day, to commit to reading and writing in your journal. As I said, we're on day 148 of the year, and according to 365 Tao by Deng Ming Dao, our word for today on the 148th day of the year is translation. So grab your books, grab your journal and something to write with. Find that nice, quiet and comfy place where you're not going to be disturbed for the next 15 minutes. Take a nice deep breath in with a long exhale out to be present and here and now. And let's start reading together on day 148 on the subject of translation. Place the word Tao into your heart. Use no other words. Why do so many people seek foreign religions? Why are so many of our philosophies translations from other languages? Surely we are all human beings with hearts and minds, 2 hands and 2 legs. Each of us needs spirituality, but why must we always look abroad? That's a very relevant question for all of us right now as well, because this is an ancient Chinese philosophy. This is a 2,500-year-old philosophy that originated in ancient China. And I know myself personally, I'm Australian and I'm currently in South Africa. Absolutely nothing to do geographically or otherwise with China. So that's a very interesting question you might want to ask yourself. Why must we always look abroad? Let's continue. People who investigate Tao ask whether they have to be Chinese to benefit from it. I know I did in the beginning. It is true that part of the study of Tao is strictly Chinese. It is also true that this Taoism has never been exported, unlike Buddhism, Islam, Hinduism, Christianity, or Judaism, and has never been preached beyond the 5 sacred mountains of China. It is elitist to protect itself from the coarse unbelievers. But this Taoism is not the Tao you need. The true Tao is of no nationality and no religion. It is far beyond the conceptions of even the most brilliant human being. So it cannot be the property of one race or culture. The need to understand Tao is universal. People just give it different names in their native languages. Tao is the very essence of life itself, so those who are alive always have the possibility of knowing Tao. It is meant to be found in the here and now, and it is within the grasp of any sincere teacher. Wow, I love today's passage. And this, as I mentioned earlier, was a question that I asked myself when I first started getting into Taoism about, almost 20 years ago now. I was like, well, is that okay? I'm not Chinese. Like, nobody in my family is Chinese. Am I going to be like a cultural appropriator? Like, is this appropriate? I had all of these questions, but when I read this passage, this particular day, it really, really answered a lot of those questions. And as it says here, it doesn't belong to one race. You don't have to be from a specific race or culture, as it says here, and it's meant to be found in the here and now, no matter where you are. And that's why when we start every morning, I encourage you to come back to your breath, to be present, to be in the present moment, because focusing on your breath is one of the best ways to do that. But the now is happening right here, right now is the reality that's unfolding around us. That is the Tao. And as it says here, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't belong to one race or one culture. It belongs to anybody, as it says here, who is a sincere seeker. So I invite you to reread this in your own time. Perhaps you want to sit and think about what made you originally want to start studying Taoism and what sparked your interest in this ancient Chinese philosophy. And perhaps you had some of these questions yourself. Perhaps you had some insecurities around something that, wasn't native to your race, as it says here, wasn't native to your culture, but now you've embraced it with open arms. And I'd also like you to think about the here and now being present. This is just something that's so important that we can come back to at any point of the day. If you find yourself being a little overwhelmed, if you find yourself worrying about the past, or you sort of find yourself worrying about the future, you're not in the present. So if you find yourself either in the past or in the future, always come back to the present moment and remember that you can do that by focusing on your breath. So thank you so much for being here for 148 days. It's always such a pleasure to start the morning with you, and I will check in with you tomorrow. Bye.